he couldn't compete.
Yeah.
But he went on to go to junior college and won All-American champion for high hurdles in college.
Yes.
Anthony Hawthorne. You know Anthony Hawthorne?
The name sounds familiar.
Anthony Hawthorne and Jeffrey Mahan are the two young men. And they graduate. They hold several school records at Niagara Falls High School for hurdles and for 800. And Anthony also holds a 600-meter record as well. So, I mean, that's how I ended up being out there. And then they came to me and said, well, would you like to volunteer?
Right.
And I said, sure.
Let's keep this train rolling.
You know, so, and I came in and they had the kids ready, but nobody wanted the girls.
Okay,
who's going to work with the girls? That was the thing. They were drawing straws. Who's going to work with the girls? They're hard-headed. They don't want to listen. They weren't going to sectionals because they weren't doing anything.
Right.
So they're not going to sectionals. They're not getting any accolades. So nobody wanted them. I said, you know what? Since I'm volunteering, let me take the girls. I ain't got nothing to do. I'll work with them.
Right.
That year we had 8 girls qualify for sectionals. The following year we had 10 girls qualify for sectionals. Mm-hmm. So every year we've had girls qualify for sectionals, breaking school records, qualifying in different events. And that's been my joy, is seeing not only them doing that, but what they understood was that you can't be a dummy and run from me. So I wanted to see report cards. We would sit and talk about life and understanding that track is just a venue for you to show that you can do something.
Right.
And if you trust and believe that you can run and jump and do all the things and believe that you can be a winner in track, you can take that same mentality and be a success in life.
Right.
And so that's what I did with those young ladies. And that was my reason for being a part of them, because so many of them had such low self-esteem, not believing. Because, of course, if you're on a team of girls and nobody's doing anything and everybody's making fun of you and the boys made fun of them, so, of course, they get out to the track practice and they're out there, practicing with me. And then I got them doing these drills that I have college kids doing. The boys are laughing at them. What are y'all doing? Those look stupid. But then get out there and show that, okay, this is why we did this.
Right. This is the results.
Exactly. And at the same time, they would look at that and say, Coach, this is hard, but they would do it. And then I said, the same way you found a way to do that is the same way you find a way to do something else in life, things that people tell you can't do. Mm-hmm. And like I said, a lot of my young ladies have graduated. A lot of them are honor students. A lot of them are going on. I had one young lady last year. She goes to Georgetown, my 400 runner, Natalia. My young lady who I told you about the triple jump, she's going to Penn State this year. Yeah. She's an honor. She's on the Honor Society. Natalia was on the Honor Society. A lot of my girls were honor students, and doing well in school. And so that was my whole thing. You couldn't run from me and be a dummy. So they had to always come when grades came out. They had to show me their grades. And if they weren't passing, then we had to talk and find out why. So
that's the beauty of that there is that, okay, so they're picking up the skills, yes, and when it comes to track and field, and you're teaching them the lessons and the tricks and whatnot, but then you're giving them that added incentive to do better in school.
That's right. And transition all that into life.
Right, and then like you said, then that transitions into life there for you.
Exactly.
That reminds me of the conversation that we was having on Saturday when you said that you have a couple of programs that you have for the for children.
Yes.
And the one we was just talking about a minute ago was the Boys to Men program.
The Boys to Men program, yes.
Yeah, so I want you to talk about that a little bit more here as well. I want the listeners to hear this one here because I thought this was excellent.
Okay.
What you're doing.
Well, the program's called From Boys to Men. And it was something that actually started. I'm a member of Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity.
Okay.
And in 1989, I'm telling my age. Well, I already told my age. But in 1989, I was pledging Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity, and I was put in charge of working with a young lady who wanted to do a program for men in Buffalo.
Okay.
So they had me be a part of that with her to put this program together. And we ended up putting together a program called Boys to Men. And we worked with the March of Dimes. And we put that program together, and it became the largest Boys to Men program under the March of Dimes. We had over 250 boys every year in this program. Mm-hmm. It grew to that point, and it was the largest Boys to Men program under March of Dimes in the country.
Okay.
And it went on from 89 to 1996. And when it ended, I started to notice that as I was going through, like I said, my fall and everything else, when I had that fall and my injury, I was being told, I was looking at the fact that doctors told me what I wasn't going to be able to do. You'll never be able to walk again. You should be dead or totally paralyzed. And I realized, I said, you know what? People are always telling someone what they can or cannot do. And a lot of times our young people, because that person is considered an authority, they will believe it.
Right. They listen to them.
You're not college material. You're not,
you're not going to be nothing in
You're
life.
not going to be anything in life. You'll be dead or in jail by the time you're 18, And so because if that's constantly being instilled to you and that's the only motivation you get, then of course, when they act out and they get in trouble, it's expected because you already told me I'm not going to be anything.
Right. At a young age.
Exactly.
And at that age, we're just soaking in information.
And that's what used to be told to me as I was growing up. I was told I was to be dead or in jail by the time I was 18. I had been suspended over 26 times by the time I graduated high school. So I share stories like that with young men. And like I said, I realized that a lot of young men are being told stuff like that and they're believing it.
Right.
But one of the things with me, my grandmother used to always say, you can do anything that you set your mind to. And I used to always say to her, I said, well, why you say that? She said, because when I noticed when your mother tell you not to do something or you can't do something, if you want to do it, you'll find a way to do it. And so what I did was I took that mindset and I said, you know what? I'm going to show young people that they can do anything that they set their mind to. They just have to figure out what it is they want to set their mind to.
Right.
So that's how No Dream is Impossible came about. And so the No Dream is Impossible was it was called The Shining Star.
Okay. It
was a program I did in Rochester. And I did that program and I was working with a group of young ladies that had talents. Mm-hmm. And we were finding out what their talents were and showing them how to make them shine, shining star.
Yes.
How to be, bring that out of them and make it something possible. So from there, I came into Buffalo and No Dream is Impossible came about, which was I brought into Buffalo schools and then Niagara Falls schools. And I noticed that there was a big issue with boys. And they asked me would I work with the young men. So that's how From Boys to Men came about in the schools. Started doing that and found that the more I worked with the young men, the bigger the problem was that I started to realize. And I just started setting my mind on it. I said, you know what? Again, I want to find how I can help them to set and achieve goals and not only help them to be able to become better.
Right.
My premise was preparing young men for success, not the streets.
Yes.
So everybody's preparing them for the streets. You're going to be dead or in jail. You're not going to be anything. You're not going to graduate. All these things, preparing them for the states and for the streets and for prison life.
And exactly. And in a lot of communities and neighborhoods, especially the ones that we may have grew up in,
right?
That's what we see.
That's exactly. And they only can emulate what they see.
Right.
So I started working with them, being a person that has several businesses, real estate, entrepreneurship, stocks and bonds, all this stuff. And I said, you know what? I'm going to start showing them the things that I do. And then this way, it gives them an opportunities to do some of the things that they never imagined that they can do.
Yes.
And then I'm going to bring in people that they can see who are doing things. So this way, again, being able to see someone, because you can emulate what you see. If you don't see them, then you can't emulate them.
Right. So
I started doing that, and that started out in one school like 4 years ago. And this year, going into 2019-2020 school year, we're going to have 6 Boys to Men's programs in 5 schools.
That's what's up.
Yeah. So it's grown that much in like the last 4 years. And so I do that program, and I'm excited about it. This year, we're going to be in Niagara Falls City Schools for the first time with the Boys to Men program. We tried to do something 2 years ago. It didn't work out. But this year they brought us back, and we're going to be starting out with 6th graders. And the schools we're looking at right now, and I'll just kind of put it out there because I'm working with the staff there now, is Abbott and Kelfis.
Okay.
Abbott and Kelfis. And we're going to be working with those students, young men, 6th graders. And the goal is to try to get them on track to a road of success.
Yes.
But what I've been doing, and I've found, is that, my program has been going well. We were just featured last December on Channel 7. My Boys and Men program. I do a program at Charles Drew Science Magnet in Buffalo. Mm-hmm. And they heard about it because Charles Drew Science Magnet, oh my God, that school, when I say it's rough.
Yeah.
So when they heard what we were doing over there, they came and wanted to show the progress that these young men were making. So when we did that, Niagara Falls invited me to come up and work with their young men, 6th graders, because of the situations they're having here. But what I've found and what I've tried to explain to them and what I'm trying to work on now is that I may have that young man for an hour or 2 hours a week, whatever the case may be, but the teachers have them 6 hours a day, 5 days a week.
Right.
The parents have them 10, 12 hours a day and the weekends. Something needs to be presented to them, so this way the stuff that I'm showing them in that 1 to 2 hours can be instilled to them from the teachers.
Right.
It can, when they go home, the parents can also instill it into them as well. So now if you're teaching the teachers and you're training the teachers and you're training the parents on what's being taught to the children, it not only helps the teacher, because now she can use that not only with the kids that I'm working with, but with other kids in her classroom that may not be in the program.
Right.
The parents can take what I'm using and they can not only instill it in the child that I'm working with, but also instill it in the other children that I'm working with that's in their home, as well as, because I'm teaching these kids entrepreneurship, introduction to real estate, introduction to the stock market at 6th grade.
Right.
So now a parent who has the means or a little money saved up, or showing them how, could I also show them how to save, introduction to savings and things like that, how to save money, how to, invest the money. So now you're teaching this to the parents. That's also going to help them, because now it gives them some ideas how to start a business. Taking some of that money, instead of going to a concert and using that money to go buy some Nike stock,
right,
or some McDonald's stock or some Burger King stock, instead of going to buy some McDonald's or going to buy some Nikes or going to buy some Burger King. Mm-hmm. So teaching people how to use their money and let it work for them. When you can do that and then help that household to grow financially and become more stable, then that child is going to be more successful.
Right.
Because it's being reinstilled, and the parents, is being reinstilled by the teachers, and then it's being instilled by me on that 1 to 2 hours. So that is what I'm trying to show Niagara Falls City Schools right now, and the other schools as well. This is what needs to be done. You can't just have me come in here for an hour or 2 hours a week and think that's going to be the cure-all.
And like being able to get it from multiple resources.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's like, because you can say something to a kid one time, and he'd be like, "Oh yeah, definitely."
Mm-hmm.
That, but then, like you said, if they're not consistently hearing that,
right, and they going home and they seeing
something different, and
exactly.
that's not being like
you're talking about saving. You're talking about saving and putting money away, and your parents are blowing every dime they get,
right,
or they see you saving, they want to get borrow right from you. So it's teaching them how to not only help themselves, but help the family overall.
Yeah.
So by showing the parents, and that's what I'm pushing with this Niagara Falls program. But I'm also, right now, I'm in the process of meeting with a company that's going to help me promote this nationally to do my Boys to Men program.
Oh, yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah. So I'm doing my Boys to Men program, trainer, where I'm going in and I'm working with the teachers, preparing the teachers, showing them how to do certain things with the young men and with the students in general. It's going to help with students in general. And then working with the parents, showing the parents how to do some of the same things. So I have a couple of books that I'm working on. I've written 13 books.
Yeah, I was reading about that when
I've written 13 books, and most of my books have been real estate books, because that was my forte, was real estate. That's how I was able to get myself into a better situation.
Yeah.
And that, like I said, my grandmother used to always say, you can do anything that you set your mind to. And that was my stepfather when he came into the house. Of course, I thought